a music player for music fanatics. 3 things make it unique. A rich interface for browsing and discovering music. Compatibility with almost any audio device. And a playback engine designed to deliver the best possible sound. Roon brings all your music, both files and streams, together into a captivating gallery. It adds high-resolution artist photos, biographies, reviews, lyrics, tour dates, and credits for performers, composers, conductors, producers, and engineers. All of that information lets you explore the connections between the people who make the music. The music collection you've built over the years is just the start. Using services like Tidal and Qobuz with Roon lets you explore a world of high-resolution music using your own favorites as the starting point. Roon lets you listen on all your gear with support for over 1,000 audio devices. Roon Ready products feature Roon's own high-resolution streaming technology built in, and you can also listen on hundreds of AirPlay, Chromecast.
Hello, everybody. Apologies for a little bit of audio clipping and jankiness with that video. We're new to this. We're getting a little bit sorted out and getting all of this started. But hello, my name is Nathan. I'm the sales coordinator here at Roon Labs. Joining me in our technical support will be Norris. If you have any questions throughout this stream, please feel free to just put them in chat and we'll get to you and maybe even address the questions at the end of this stream. Thank you all for joining us. This will be a little bit of an introduction to what is Roon, who are we, and how do you get started with using Roon in your system. So without further ado, I'll kind of pull this guy up there for you. Our company philosophy comes down to helping everybody get access to their music and listen and engage with your music the way that you want to do it. Our whole mantra is about improving that experience from top to bottom, whether it's how you find your music and discover your music, or it's how you stream your music all around the different devices in your home. So for this demonstration, I'm going to be kind of getting you introduced to just starting from square one with Roon and then adding different things in so that your system is able to play music and be a part of that listening experience. So I'll kind of center this a little bit. First thing to keep in mind is to think of your whole Roon system as being founded around a brain to the system. That brain is the Roon Core, as we call it. That Roon Core is going to hold all of your music. It's going to take in any music that's streamed and then send it out to the other devices that are in your home, say the speakers that you have connected. You'll be able to control that core via the remote app on your phone. Maybe you started a Roon trial and downloaded the app on your phone and saw that nothing connected and got a little confused. The reason is that you need a core somewhere in your home network, usually running on a desktop or a laptop, or our Roon Music solution, the Nucleus. You'll need that core to be the foundation for your setup. So once you have that core app installed on, say, your laptop in your home, you're ready to really get started. And this is the first screen you'll be introduced with. Kind of the pitch for our overall music right there. You'll agree to the terms. You'll see here, I have a Nucleus set up in my home network, but our goal here is to say, what's the new setup experience like? So here I'll say, use this computer to set it up as my core. Here, we'll show in a demo setup here. Hopefully I put the password in right. Perfect. And then we're going to be presented with the next steps in getting my music added. Roon has already recognized that I have some iTunes music already downloaded and on my computer that are from an existing music library. And it's just saying, hey, we see that you have music on your computer. We're just going to go ahead and introduce that to your Roon library. It's going to be there and waiting for you as soon as you have the app set up. I can choose to disable that if I don't want Roon to see my own personal music. However, in this case, yeah, I want all the music I can get access to. So I'm going to say that's perfect. Now, if you don't see your music added here, you'll be able to click this Add Folder button, and a folder browser will pop out in another window, and it'll say, hey, just pick out your files, and you can show us where your music lives on your computer, and we'll go ahead and access that for you, and we'll add that to your Roon library. We'll go ahead and continue here. So now it's going to add my music to my Roon library. And then we're presented with streaming. As a part of using Roon, when you click these Get Started buttons, with the example of Qobuz, we'll include a free 30-day trial, clicking that Get Started button and going into your new account setup if you've never used Qobuz before. However, clicking on either of these buttons, I'll go ahead and grab title here, and I'll say, hey, I have an account that I'd like to use. It's going to open up a browser window, which you won't see here, but it'll send me back over, and I'll say, hey, yeah, I've logged in with my credentials, and then sent right back into the Roon app. My title is now connected to my Roon experience. And then we're presented with this screen. Roon is asking us, where do you want to play music to? What areas in your home would you like to be able to control Roon as it streams those music outputs? So here, this is the device that I'm using right now to control Roon. This is the core, and in this case, also the remote. But I also have other devices around my home. And as you can see here, devices that have been certified by Roon get their own kind of section and their own badge. That tells you that Roon has worked with that company. We've collaborated with them and certified that device absolutely works with Roon. Any of that, the features or possibilities that you want to explore with that device, all are deeply integrated with what Roon is able to do. So I'm going to go ahead and keep scrolling through. You see that we have my stereo system. We have a bunch of different devices available here. Once you've selected all of the devices that you're interested in controlling with Roon, you'll go ahead and click Finish. And that'll take us into all of the views that Roon is going to be able to give us as far as controlling and seeing our music. So right off the bat, we're going to see kind of just a small picture of what music I've added to my library, as well as recommendations that Roon is going to be giving to me. So with that, Roon is able to learn who you are and give you very specific music recommendations according to your taste. And that lives on the homepage in the New Releases for You page. If I were to click on More here, it's going to start giving me recommendations that Roon has kind of gathered as I've been using the app and adding music to my library and listening and things like that. So what you're going to get out of that music listening experience is overall enhancement. Over time, Roon is going to continue to give you better and better recommendations and suggestions. Here, it's a brand new library. Roon doesn't quite know who I am, so it's going to give me a whole swath of different recommendations, trying to see what do I find interesting? What am I wanting to listen to and engage with? And so as I see albums that I might be interested in listening to later or at that point in time, I can go ahead and click on Add to Library. And now that exists inside of my Roon library. In this case, albums available from Tidal, and it's now inside of Roon's database of music that I'm interested in, and I'll be able to come back to it and listen to it later. as I scroll through it, you'll kind of notice a couple things. First of all, Roon understands that this is a classical album with different movements and different pieces as a part of this recording. And as we go through all the way to the end, Roon is going to also be giving me recommendations specific to the album that I'm looking at, where my new albums recommended for you page is giving me broad recommendations saying, hey, these are aspects of the music experience on the whole that you might be interested in. These are new music aspects that maybe you haven't heard of or tangentially connected to your tastes. Looking at the For You recommendations inside of an album view or inside of an artist view, Roon is going to say, hey, you're in a specific area. You have a specific point of interest here. Here's some extra tools. Here's some extra pieces of genre-related content that you might be interested in listening to. So that's just a little bit of extra recommendations that Roon is able to put together for us, and what we're able to do in getting you the music listening experience that you're looking for as a part of your overall experience. In addition to that, one last thing we're able to do just in recommending new music is inside of the Roon Radio option. Now I'm going to turn my volume down. And when I click Start Radio, I can start it from an album. I can start it from, looks like my title is going to fight me a little bit here, but it looks like when you click on Roon Radio, you can start it from an album, from an artist, from a playlist. And Roon is going to just give you music suggestions catered to your tastes, and it's going to take into context where you're starting from. So here I start from a classical composer or a classical album. I could start it from a pop artist. I could say, play me a Pharrell album, or play me Roon Radio from Pharrell, rather. And Roon is going to give you tracks assorted from both Pharrell and around genres that you're able to take advantage of in that sense. So on the whole, Roon is giving you a lot of tools here to explore and discover new music. And right off the bat, when you're just getting started with Roon, you get a lot of choices and options for expanding your music library, building out the discography, hopefully finding new music that is new or interesting to you. Now, of course, you might have your own existing library. You might not be interested necessarily in music discovery. In past music discovery, of course, Roon is able to help you collect and put together your own music experience and make sure that your listening experience is exactly what you'd like it to be. And we give you a few tools for doing that. One really cool tool that I can show you is just in maybe finding music that you are familiar with from a particular artist, or just getting more insight into a particular artist that is already in your music library. Take, for example, Ella Fitzgerald. We can scroll through her artist profile, and we can see off the bat, Roon is going to give me a big biography all about who Ella Fitzgerald is. And that biography isn't just some words about who she is. It's going to give me links to seeing who Ella Fitzgerald collaborated with throughout her career. It's going to give me some context about when she was born, when she passed away, as well as bands that she is credited as being a member of. We can keep scrolling through that. Again, notable artist with a very long and in-depth bio. And Roon recognizes that I don't have any of Ella Fitzgerald's music in my library. So it's going to say, hey, here's some popular tracks and here's some recommended albums to kind of get you started with who is Ella Fitzgerald and would you like to know more about this musician? Of course, if I so choose, I can click in and see all of the albums that Ella has released. And I can sort them by different points in time, right? So I could sort it by popularity, which is going to be the default there. Or I can sort it by date. So when the albums came out or by title. Clicking on any of those is going to just automatically show me this is when all the music was released, and I can go through, and if that's more familiar, you can sort through music that way. Going back to the overview here on the middle left, I can continue scrolling through a little bit of more of what Roon is trying to show me and introduce me with, seeing who Ella Fitzgerald is. And right here, we see that Roon is showing me collaborations between Ella Fitzgerald and Joe Pass. This is a dynamic element. This will change depending on when you're looking at it and what parallels Roon is drawing inside of your library. And it's just going to highlight, hey, these are some cool collaborations between some notable artists that you might be interested in. Gives you just another metric that you can kind of just jump in and start engaging with music in a new and interesting way. We'll continue scrolling down. Roon's going to say, hey, you like this particular artist, here's some other related artists or artists from the similar genre that might be compelling for you. And we get to a pretty cool feature that Roon now is adding to a lot of artists, especially notable artists, and that is the In Their Prime section. This is something that Roon automatically does on its own. It's built on our Valence machine learning technology, just powering a lot of what we're doing to give you recommendations. But Valence is able to piece together what are the notable albums from this artist that critical tastemakers are kind of highlighting as important and that users are engaging with a lot. And we're able to see a little timeline of who was this artist, what is your best music, how should I be going about introducing myself to Ella Fitzgerald and getting that whole discovery process kickstarted. So it's really significant for getting the most out of learning about music, learning about who your favorite artists are, maybe who your new favorite artists might be. So we're able to see a lot of information and get a lot of discovery out of what Roon is able to show us here. Of course, there are different genres, and there are different ways that we might want to dig into music. So let's take a classical composer, for instance. First and foremost, Roon understands who a composer is and how a composer is different from an artist or a performer. And that means that Roon is going to be able to say, you are looking for compositions that this person has written and that maybe other people have performed. And so off the bat, Roon is going to be able to understand, hey, there's compositions. And we're going to get, again, recommendations and expanded ideas for how we can engage with this music, with this composer's music. However, when we go and look at Beethoven's quote unquote discography, we can use a pretty cool Roon tool called Focus. And Focus is going to allow us to hone down a lot of different facets of who a composer is and how their work is performed. In this case, we can grab a favorite conductor and match them to our favorite composer, add that filter, maybe even add our favorite ensemble that conductor had worked with. And then you're going to get a bunch of music that is available in Tidal or in Qobuz that you've added to your music library. And Roon is going to give you those tools to quickly just jump into albums that maybe you had forgotten the name of, or performances that you're really specifically interested in engaging with. You get a lot of tools for pulling the different pieces of music together, and Focus lets you kind of grab those out of thin air and then show you all the music that's related with those different attributes. So it's super, super useful there. One final thing that's worth noting, it's not all just classical and jazz. We can take a look at modern music performers and how they're collaborating with each other. So we'll take Pharrell Williams, for example. and look at his discography. Of course, we see albums listed here, but we also can look at recordings. And we can see where Pharrell is collaborating with other artists. And by default, we're sorting this by popularity. And so at the top, we see a Daft Punk album showing up where Pharrell is credited as a performer on that album. And we see that collaboration there. So you get a lot of ways of getting insights into how are my favorite artists working together, who have they collaborated with. If you click on a particular album, and we can go into the credits, and we can see all of the people who have contributed on that album and made it what it is today. All of these names and pictures are hyperlinks. I can go click on them. I can look at what they're doing in terms of where else they've performed, what other music that they've done, right? I can see all kinds of insights into who a musician is and who they are in collaborating with the person that I was just looking at. So Roon is going to give you a ton of insights into not only your music, but music that's connected to your music and the people that are connected to your music. You really get to enjoy music as an art form and see all of those different pieces working together. So that's a big insight into what you're able to get out of Roon as a tool for managing your music library and getting extra context into your music library. Yeah, that's kind of the big picture that we were hoping to provide today. I'd love to take some time to answer some questions. Looks like we've had some come through. If you've had questions along the way, please feel free to reach out and let us know. I will try and answer them as they come in. Gonna scroll back here a little bit and see what questions have come in. Sounds like we've heard some struggles with audio. If you're still having issues with hearing me, please let me know. But hello to everyone who's joined. Looks like we have people from around the world joining us. It's very exciting. Again, if you're still seeing audio issues, please let me know. We have a gentleman asking if how Roon improves streaming from Tidal and how Nucleus will improve streaming further. So that's a great question. There's a few different answers to that. Roon is able to add DSP features, and I won't get too deep into this, but this whole screen here will give you a lot of tools for tweaking and managing your music and your sound in a way that's optimal for you. By default, we're not going to do anything to change your music. But if that's something that you're interested in, maybe you want to try adding equalization to your music. That's something that you can explore. Past that, Roon is adding everything I just showed you for your overall music experience. Roon is a huge tool for helping you improve and enhance what you're able to see in your library, who you're able to see musicians are connected to, how you're able to go and just find a track that you're looking to hear. Our goal is to not only give you tools for finding music and discovering music, but also for managing and enhancing that overall listening experience. I won't stray too far into the audio quality conversation. That's always up to your ear. Whatever sounds best to you, sounds best to you. And Roon is just here to be a tool that gives you the best quality that we can deliver. Whatever resolution your file is in, we'll be able to stream that to your device. And beyond that, our goal is just to make things accessible for you and make things make sense. Now the questions are rolling in. All right, sounds like audio is okay currently, which is great. If you run into issues, let me know. Let's see here. Someone mentions that in other streaming services, you might have like an essentials of playlist. Part of the beauty of what Roon is able to do with our integrations with Tidal and Qobuz is that any, say, essentials or intro to playlists that they might have, those are all included in Roon's interface. We're able to surface those playlists for you, no problem. But past that, if you're looking for an essentials of playlist, I would highly recommend just going back to what we're seeing here, looking at what's popular, click and play. We find that Roon users are astute music critics and that they have very good taste. So in the recommendations that Roon is giving you, if you just click on popular tracks and then click play, chances are you'll have a very, very good introduction to who an artist is and what their sound is and how you like their music. Let me see here. All right, we have someone asking, does Roon ensure that the stream is received and unpacked correctly? It's a great question. And the answer is yes. Roon does lossless audio streaming. It's bit perfect. And what that means is that we are guaranteeing that the audio is exactly as we received it all throughout the beginning to the end. And for Roon-ready devices that we've certified as tested in-house and that use our streaming technology, we can even see what's happening on the device as the music is being processed by the DAC. So we can report back to you if that DAC is performing DSP or if there's anything changing to your music, which is generally something that you're looking for. It's a setting that you turned on, but assuming all settings are off and all of that, Roon will be able to guarantee and give you that feedback and say, hey, this is bit perfect. Everything coming from start to finish is exactly what you expected it to be, and is the same resolution as the source track that you decided to play. Let me see here. Someone asked if they can import playlists from UPnP devices. So if you have other apps that have playlists set up, we can certainly import those as XML files. I highly recommend that you reach out to our customer support team through our website to say, hey, I'd like to learn more about adding a playlist to my Roon that I already had built somewhere else. And they can walk you through what it would look like to export that as an XML file. In terms of iTunes, Qobuz, or Tidal playlists that you've already built, all those will be imported as a part of Roon's setup. We also have Soundees integration. So if you're looking to move your music experience from a different streaming service to Tidal or Qobuz or into Roon, we can support that integration. So you'll be able to link that account to Soundees, link your Roon account Soundees, and then all of that information will be shared and we'll be able to give you a very accurate replication of what you had been previously listening to. Let me see. Someone's asking, how do you best display the most played tracks? You're looking at tracks and clicking on plays. One of the better ways that I like to take advantage of that is if you scroll down on the home page, you can see your recent listening here. And that's going to start highlighting what you've listened to the most in your overall listening habits. You'll be able to click on that and expand it. If you have any listening history, this is a brand new demo account, so I can't show you exactly what that's going to look like. But the answer is yes, Roon does give you tools for exploring what you've listened to most. So that absolutely is possible there. Someone's asking what the difference is between Roon Ready and Roon Tested, and that is absolutely something I'd like to touch on. Roon Tested, both devices, Roon Ready and Roon Tested, come into Roon, and we test them in our lab. We connect them to Roon. We see how they cooperate, what they play, everything like that. A Roon-ready device uses our streaming code. We have a free-to-use code that we give to hardware manufacturers that partner with us. They put that code on their amplifier, on their speaker, on their DAC, and that software allows it Roon to see exactly what's going on that device. It allows us to give you a very first-party feeling integration where your music is playing through that device, and it feels like that's a Roon device. We're able to control the volume control. We're able to show you, like I mentioned before, any DSP that's happening on that signal path from Roon's side all the way into what your hardware is doing. That's tested by us. We do everything to make sure that it won't break. It's just always going to be reliable for your system, and we certify it. We put the Roon Ready branding on it. That guarantees that we've done all the testing. It's perfectly suited for using with Roon. Roon Tested goes through much of the same testing process, but it's not using our streaming code. In the case of a USB device, it doesn't stream music over the internet, so it doesn't need to use our streaming code. But it also gives a lot of manufacturers an entry point to signal into our customers that, hey, we're cooperating with Roon, we're building something together and collaborating with them. It's just not using Roon's Roon Ready code on the device. So it's Roon tested, and that's usually over AirPlay or Chromecast. So AirPlay, Chromecast, USB devices that connect with Roon have their own device icon and integrate well with what Roon is able to do. That's a Roon tested device. Roon Ready means that we have all of those integrations. You get the product logo inside of the app, and Roon is able to kind of set all of its settings up for both of them, both Roon Ready and Roon tested devices. Roon knows what they are. Seamless setup experience. You don't have to worry about any difficulties there. We have a couple questions about integrations for other streaming services. I can't tell you. I don't know of any plans for future integrations, but again, people don't tell me things. There might be something coming. We'll only find out in the future. Right now, our streaming services that we support are Tidal and Qobuz, and we'll also be able to import your iTunes library into Roon. When Roon, we have a question here asking if Roon moves your music library around. No, whether your music is living in your iTunes folder, whether it lives on a NAS somewhere in your home, whether it's on a hard drive you just plugged into your Roon computer. No, Roon doesn't move it. It just sees where it is. We build our own catalog inside of the Roon app of what things are and what the names and albums are that are in your tracks, or in your library, names of albums and tracks that are in your library. And we have our own local index of what's going on there, but the files themselves will always stay wherever you had originally saved them. Roon isn't going to change any of that experience for you. We have customers asking, hey, I don't stream my music. I only have my own local music. To be clear, you're absolutely someone that we value, and there's no pushing out of one user or another type of use case coming from us at Roon. Our goal is to make sure that we meet as many needs as possible, be it streamed music where your only library source is streaming, or maybe your only library source is local music that you own. Either way, you're going to be able to make the most out of what Roon has to offer. You're going to be able to take advantage of all the features I've showed you here today. But in terms of I only have my own music, I don't do streaming, you might miss out on new album recommendations that Roon's able to do. You might miss out on certain recommendation features like that, where it's pulling in brand new stuff that's come out post your library. But in terms of supporting your library and helping your music experience along the way, we'll absolutely support that. And that's not something that we'll be abandoning at any point. Wow, lots of questions. I may not be able to address all of these today. Appreciate the engagement, and I'll try to get to a couple more here. But do feel free to reach out to us at contact@roonlabs.com if you have any particular questions that you're burning to have answered. We'd love to connect with you and see what we can do to help with your experience. While I'm reading through some more questions here, one thing I'd like to quickly point out is that if any of you don't have Roon right now and you're interested in trying it out, if you go to roonlabs.com, we'll get you started right away with a 14-day trial. That's something that we can quickly give you access to. If you have any questions, reach out to us via chat there. We'd love to be a resource for getting your Roon experience kickstarted. So please connect with us. We have a free trial program available for you, and we want you to be able to take advantage of that. Let's see. Kind of rolling through here. Are there minimum specs for hosting the Roon Core? Yes, there are. 8 GB of RAM is enough. We have a document on our website specifically telling you what your specs need to be. If your device has 8 GB of RAM, I'm imagining an iSeries Intel processor, chances are you're okay to run your device as a Roon Core. If you're not sure, maybe your device is a bit older, please feel free to reach out to us. Again, contact@roonlabs.com. We will happily walk you through what's your system and how can we get you set up there. Now, we have some other questions regarding Nucleus and how does that impact my system as a core. Nucleus is a device that we have designed as our kind of Roon Core in a box. You don't have to do any setup besides plugging it in and turning it on. You don't have to worry about maintaining it. You don't have to worry about making noise. It's fanless and entirely silent. It's our way to guarantee that you're going to get the best performance out of Roon just off the get-go. For people who don't like leaving their laptop on overnight, just to be able to go to the living room and listen to music, Nucleus gets to be your solution where it just lives on your internet network. It's plugged into power. You don't have to worry about turning it on and off. It just plays your music. So it adds a lot of convenience. It adds a lot of guaranteed performance and guaranteed reliability that you might not get from using another core in your system. So that's our mentality, creating Nucleus, and that's why we have it on offer. It's so that if you're unhappy or if you're feeling frustrated by your existing core experience because you have to turn it off, or you don't like that it has fans, or you just don't like that it's not exclusively dedicated to Roon, that's where Nucleus fits in and is the perfect solution for you. Let's see. How long will the lifetime subscription be available? Should we hurry? I don't know. Maybe you should. Maybe you don't have to. I don't have a real answer for you. I'm sorry there. Let's see. I think we've run through a lot of the questions coming in here. We have a couple people coming to us with some specific issues with their system. Maybe Roon is skipping tracks, or they're seeing some other kinds of undesired behavior in their system. Please reach out to us, to our technical support team. They're at community.roonlabs.com. Again, community.roonlabs.com. They'll be able to help you sort through your issue. We have a full-time technical support team there, very equipped to handle diagnosing maybe what's going on with your system or what we can do to help to make things as straightforward and reliable as possible. I think I am caught up to most of these questions. Someone asking, what does it mean to add title content to my library? They have no hard drive or anything installed on their Nucleus. Title content is streamed over the internet to your Nucleus. So when you click add to library, it's not living inside of your Nucleus. However, Roon is adding a kind of marker that says, hey, this is something that you're interested in. This is something that you would like to reference and come back to. And it does a couple things with that. First and foremost, It means that if I click on, let me reshare my screen here. If I click on the My Albums or Artists section over here in my library, I have a quick point of reference that I can go back and access that music. It gives you a really easy tool to just say, hey, I like that album. I like to revisit that album. You can virtually own it. Roon also will be using that information as a context marker to say, hey, you really like Bob Dylan. Let's make sure that you get Bob Dylan recommendations from Roon Radio. Get more Americana, more folk recommendations as we're surfacing albums for you. We're looking to learn about you. I mean, give you the music that you're interested in hearing. And so that's where that tool kind of comes in, not only for your music management, but also for your music enrichment. People asking about the filter symbol. The filter is here to quickly search for things that are only in this view. So I just wanted to see Bob Dylan music. I type in Bob, and it's going to show me all the albums that are available inside of this My Albums screen. Of course, as I mentioned before, we can look at focus. Focus is available in any display that you see in Roon. And we're going to be highlighting all the different aspects of music that you're listening to. Maybe when you added it to your library, maybe the file format or the sample rate that you'd like it to be in. We're looking to just give you tools to manage and discover your own music library through Focus, not just Stream, but also anything that's on your library itself. Let's see. Someone asking about tags. Yes, tags. So by default, Roon is going to be giving you a bunch of different tags, and these are kind of genre tags. But you can also create your own. And these are just so that you have a resource for managing your own music. Maybe you want to have a specific type of subgenre or something that you feel like isn't represented in the tags that we're showing. But you don't want to make it a playlist. You want to just be able to go find the albums that are associated with that, or maybe just specific tracks that hit that feeling. You can create that tag and save it. And now you can see slightly different color. I've added my own tag to all of the other tags that Roon had previously made available. Of course, I can always just click on an existing tag, and it's going to show me things that are in my library, first and foremost, and then it's going to give me extra information and recommendations. Again, Roon is surfacing new music for me and bringing things to light as I click through the app. But yeah, tags are just an easy way to sort your music and kind of itemize things in your library, all throughout those different pieces. Sort of functionally similar to maybe a playlist, but a little bit more broad in the way that you're able to take advantage of what they're showing you. Let's see. Someone's asking for settings might be best sound performance for particular equipment. If you have questions about particular hardware or particular setups that we can help you out with in your system, please reach out to us, contact@roonlabs.com. We're here to help. General rules of thumb, Ethernet is going to be more reliable than Wi-Fi. If your device is Roon ready, it says Roon ready in the box or in the website, use that network connection rather than a different aspect of connecting to it, say optical or something like that. Roon will be able to see it on your internet and give you a lot of those functionality benefits that I mentioned before. Yeah, those are the really, really broad general ones, but wired is generally more reliable than Wi-Fi. And beyond that, we can absolutely give you specifics about your device. In a lot of cases, if your device is Roon ready or Roon tested, when Roon connects to it, over your internet or via USB, it's able to see what your device is and automatically set itself up so that all the right boxes are checked and all the right information is being sent. So you don't have to worry about that there. If you're looking for something more detailed, again, we're here to help. Contact at roonlabs.com. I do think that we're mostly caught up to a lot of the questions now. Norris has done an incredible job keeping up with everybody in chat as well. I hope he's been able to address your questions and you've been able to see those coming through in the chat room as well. We're about 45 minutes in. I think that about finishes it up for me. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you were able to learn something from everything we've shown. If you have any questions, anything wasn't clear, there's anything else that we can highlight for you, reach out to us at contact@roonlabs.com. If you have technical issues or are looking for support in getting your Roon system up and running, community.roonlabs.com. It's a website that you can go to. Our technical support team is there and waiting to help you out in getting that all sorted out. It's been my pleasure hosting all of this. Thank you so much for reaching out and spending this time with us. We'll hopefully see you again soon. Thank you so much.